Cool. So we're ready for some harasser training. Alright, so let me start off with some good key bindings that might be useful. Don't have to do them, but I tend to find them very useful for harasser or any movement game. Because the regular WASD shift and control buttons to move in any game is really stupid. So I highly recommend using QWES for moving left, forward, right, and back respectively, and then using R for your sprint, and then C as your crouch button. C can also apply as your descent if you're using it for air vehicles. This way your hand is in a straight line. It's easy to hit all the buttons you need to hit, and you don't have to contort your fingers to do stupid movement stuff. So I highly recommend it. Alright, so for build on a harasser, I always recommend using Scrapper Combat Chassis. The reason I say Scrapper Combat Chassis is because with the Scrapper you can get really good traction, but still have enough looseness, I suppose you could say, in the wheels so that you can power slide with it. And the reason you want to power slide with it sometimes is there's movements you can use to get away, where you power slide backwards and you can tilt and turn really quickly. We'll get into that in a little bit. Racer, you're too butter wheels. Racer is just not good. And you don't want to be going 100% speed in your harasser all the time. It's good to go 100% speed to chase stuff down or to run away from things, but if you're going at 100% speed while nothing is going on, unless you're trying to get somewhere, it's a waste of it's just not good, because you can hit a bump at 100% speed and flip over. If someone is trying to track your vehicle from a far range and you're at 100% speed, it's easier for them to track where your vehicle is and where they should shoot. Say you're going at 70% speed, you start getting shot at, then you boost up to 100%. While they're in combat, they have to recalculate where they're going to shoot to try and hit your car. In terms of utility, I always use fire suppression, but there is a useful thing to note with Gate Shield Diffuser. Since it does block damage from collision, you can use a Gate Shield Diffuser to smash into enemy vehicles that are trying to get away. If you have enough health, you can block them from getting into, say, a shield at like an amp station or something. They're trying to get past the shield. You could pop your Gate Shield Diffuser and get in their way. They might bump you into the gate, but they won't be able to get in, and they can get killed from that. If you don't have Gate Shield Diffuser, don't try that with Sundays or ants, because you're going to get blown up. If they have too much mass, if they're going fast, you're going to blow up. Being upside down counts as collision damage, so if you have Gate Shield Diffuser and you happen to be upside down, you can pop that, and it'll give you a few more seconds of life to try and flip over your car and get upright again. Alright, so now we're going to get into some movement stuff. So, first thing off, if you're trying to go up a hill, your goal is to pop your boost while you still have momentum in your car. That'll allow you to go much higher in the hill than you normally would otherwise. If you are boosting after you're already stalled on the hill or mountain or whatever, you're not going to go very far. You're just going to stay in place, or you're even going to lose some distance in some cases. So I'm going to demonstrate the first way, which is the improper way, where I'm going to stall on this mountain in front of us and then pop my boost. It's not really going to get us very far. And then from the same spot that we're at right now, I'll put a waypoint. I'm going to use boost at the start, at the bottom of the mountain, and it'll get us higher on the rocks. So I used 100% boost there, and it actually brought us backwards. And that was after I stalled. I started boost. Okay, now we're at the same spot, and I'm going to do it the right way. So here we actually got a little bit extra distance, maybe another 20 feet or so. But this does count. This does help you get up hills and stuff. And if you're driving around and you're trying to escape something, this will definitely get you out of a lot of cases. Next thing I want to show is if you are scaling a cliff sideways or a mountain or something sideways in the harasser. What you want to do is try to point your wheels towards the sky. Don't point them down towards the ground. Don't point them straight. You'll get a little bit more distance out of your lateral movement if you have your wheels pointed towards the sky while you're trying to drive straight forward. So. Next thing is we're going to show how mid-air you can actually control the roll of your car. You can't control the pitch, you can't control the yaw, but you can control the roll based on which direction your wheels are turning in. So once you're mid-air, if you turn your wheels left, in most cases your car will roll right, and if you turn your wheels right, your car will roll left. Sometimes based on the angle that you hit the edge that you jump off on, that's inverted. Those controls are inverted, but the first second that you're off the edge of the cliff, you can just tap the left-right keys a little bit. You can see which direction you're rolling in, and you can use that to control your landing, so that you land straight and that you don't land on your side and flip over and blow up and stuff like that. Also, sometimes your landing zone isn't going to be flat itself, and even if you jump off and you have a good straight jump, you could actually roll your car a little bit to match the angle of where you're going to land, so that you don't miss that landing. You don't hit the ground sideways. Another thing to note is if you are going to land pretty rough, I would recommend just right before you land, let go of all the keys and let your wheels go slack. It prevents the car from spinning out. It doesn't always work, but it does help if you were going to hit a bump on the landing, like a little tiny bump that could mess you up. Just let go of all the keys. You can still look around with your mouse, it's fine, but it just lacks the wheels and it should work out. So I'm going to make this jump in front of us, and I'm going to start doing a roll. I'm going to pick a direction to roll in, and you can see how the car will roll because the wheels are turned. So there I intentionally chose to roll to the left. I'm going to do it again the other way. Another thing to note that Kenrick actually discovered is if you are holding your brake while you're mid-air, the amount that you roll is also increased drastically. So over here, I'm intentionally trying to land the car kind of sideways. I'm rolling to show how this effect can be pretty drastic. Of course, your goal when you're actually driving is to not land sideways, to land flat, but you get the idea. Next thing is if you are driving somewhere with high mountains, cliffs, stuff where you are being engaged, but you need to disengage really quickly, or you need to chase something down really quickly. You don't have room to get a nice incline to go down. The harasser takes a lot of collision damage at the front, the very nose of the car, and a little bit less, but still pretty significant at the very back of the car. So if you're going to jump off a cliff or fall off a cliff, your goal is to try and turn your wheels at the very last second, while you still have ground beneath the wheels, and make your car land on its side. You still might die from the collision damage, but it gives you a better chance of survival because the sides of the car and the bottom of the car take a lot less collision damage in the front than the back. Of course, you never want to land on your top, but the sideways thing will try and get you on the side of the car when you land. I'm going to try and find somewhere high to jump off of. Might not get a good spot here, but this applies a lot in southern Indar because there's a lot of land bridges, stuff that you can be driving on, trying to chase air and stuff with maybe a walker harasser. Let's say like a bunch of liberators come and chase down, just drive off the cliff sideways and just land into the ditch. Take a look at the map, there might be something good nearby. right here, we might die, but let's figure it out. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, you can control your roll, but the roll doesn't help too much with landing on your side so much. Your goal is to try and... so, Kenrick, can you point your gun southeast? Yeah, like that. A little bit to the right more. Alright, so the gun is pointing in the direction you want your car to be flying in. If you're going to be flying off a cliff. So the car is kind of sideways along this angle, but it's moving in the direction that the gun is pointing in. And that's your goal. If you can't land right on your bottom the way you should, this is the goal that you want, to land right on the side, even if your car is moving towards the southeast or south-southeast in this case. Alright, next thing I want to show you is why the power slide is important in the car. So there's a key combo you can do, specifically Scrapper Combat Chassis, where you back up, you hold your brake, and you release the brake as you turn, and it lets you spin at a pretty wide angle. The faster you're going, the more spin you can get out of it. You can even do a full 180 degrees if you're going fast enough. And it lets you turn really quickly without having to do a whole loop around, where it might take time and space to do a loop around, but you don't have that time and space. So key combo is you hold your S to back up, hold your brake at the same time, and then pick a direction to turn in. Hold your wheels in that direction, and then release your brake once you have a good enough turn. Don't wait for your car to stall completely. You still have some movement backwards while you release your brake, and then once you're in the direction you want to go in, just slam your boost button, and you'll go really fast in a direction opposite of whatever you were facing in originally. So we'll try this here on this sort of flat plane here. Kenrick, if you want to look backwards, it'll show what's going on. So there, I wasn't going super fast, it was kind of like a 90-degree angle. I'm going to try and get more speed. I'm going to build up more speed and show you. This happens to work a lot better if you're on a hillside and you need to get down the hillside, because going down the hill you'll get more speed, you'll get a better angle that you can turn at. So try it here. So like that there, at enough speed to do a full 180. And the faster you're going, the quicker the turn, and the better it is for you to get away from something. So say you're peeking over a cliff, and then on the other edge there is a mag rider or something taking a look at you, and you don't want to be there. It's a good way to get away from stuff. Like I said before, if you are driving your car, try not to go at 100% speed all the time. You could hit bumps that'll just flip you over, and it's just annoying because you have to reset. And if something's tracking you from far away, they know your speed, they know your max speed, and it's not that good for you, because then they can know how to engage you at that point. So save your boost so you actually need it, unless you're trying to get somewhere really fast. Another thing is, if you have a short-range gun in your car, a lot of times you want to get a really good angle. Like the Mjolnir, it's not that long range. You want to get a good angle on a vehicle. You don't want to go head-on into that vehicle a lot of times, because they'll notice you and they'll tear you up. So you want to be able to get the backside of, say, a tank. You don't go 100% speed at them, but take your time, go around them, and make sure your gunner is communicating with you to let them know. Don't shoot until you got a good angle, close enough to them. trick with gunning. If you are in the gunner seat and you need to reload, your reload will continue even after you jump out of that seat. If you jump out of the car, or say in seat 3, it'll still continue the reload. So, say you're on the run and you're shooting something and you reload, even if it's just like half a second into the reload or a quarter of a second into it, you could just jump into another seat, into the back seat, and start repairing. That way you can keep yourself a little bit topped off, and it might give you a little bit of an edge in surviving a combat situation. Kendrick, can you demonstrate how the reload will continue if after you shoot? Did it work there? Cool. So yeah, a good thing to know. I mean, it's on a case-by-case basis based on the driver and the gunner combo of whoever is in the crew. But if you don't know the driver or don't know the gunner, a lot of times it's best, like say you're just in a blueberry car, best to just keep the car toppled off. So once you pop off a reload and the car is not at 100% health, just jump in the back, get your repair tool out, give a little bit of health to the car. Another thing is if you have, I always recommend 2 people in the car, just because your engineer having the ability to repair in the back whenever he needs to is always a good thing. But if you happen to have 3 people in the car and your person in the back is shooting stuff, say the car driver and the gunner hop out to do repairs real quick, your vehicle, even though if they're in the seat of the vehicle, will still give ammo to whoever is in that seat. So say I was in the back seat and I started shooting stuff, and Kendrick threw ammo on the floor here outside of the vehicle. It doesn't even have to be in the trunk itself, just as long as I'm within the range of the ammo pack, it'll still give me ammo. So you can do that with anything that infantry, any infantry weapons that require reload, rearm from an engineer pack. They can do that from the car, and it doesn't even have to be the rumble seat. I could be in the gunner seat of the car, I could be in the driver's seat. It would still apply. That works with any vehicle. If you are a gunner for a harasser, I always recommend that you keep C4 on you instead of tank mines. The reason being is that C4 does not activate in time if you're being chased by something. Tank mines don't activate in time if you're being chased by something. They'll run right over it and it won't blow up. So keep C4 on you. And say a harasser is chasing you, you can pop the C4 on them and do a lot of damage. Also, if you are going to throw your C4, try not to throw it at a straight horizontal angle or down even. You want to aim up a little bit, maybe at a 45-degree angle, throw the C4 up, and it has a higher chance of still being in the air by the time they chase you, and it'll stick to their car or whatever that is chasing you, and it'll do more damage if it sticks to them and you blow it up. Even if it doesn't stick to them, it'll still hit the ground, and you could use it as a trap, and they'll follow you, and you can pop it off there. But try and maintain that 45-degree angle that you throw it at, so that you have a chance of it sticking to their vehicle. So with basilisks, furies, and bulldogs, the gunners in a sunrear cannot reach down to you if you are actually like this right up against their sunrear. So if you're chasing a Sundy, or if the Sundy is deployed and just sits still and there's no infantry around it, good thing is to just stick right next to them like this, and your gunner can shoot at their vehicle and they can't aim down to hit you. They have to get out of the Sundy in order to actually shoot at you. And another good thing to note is most vehicles in this game the default jump outside is the left side of the vehicle. So if you're chasing a Sunday and it's going full speed down a road, if you're on its left side and while you're chasing, if anyone tries to hop out to shoot you, you might run them over, and because they're gonna hop out of the left side. So just try and stick on the left side and as close as possible to their vehicle, so they can't shoot you, and you'll run over whoever jumps out.